Hello everyone. So we are discussing the French Revolution and our today's topic that we are going to start is France abolishes monarchy and becomes a republic. See, till now we have seen that how National Assembly drafted a constitution because they wanted to limit the power of the monarch, and then France became a constitutional monarchy. Now, what happened so that this constitutional monarchy also becomes a republic? That we are going to see in this topic. So let's begin. See, uh, the situation in France continued to be tense. So after the National Assembly also, this situation was not going so well. So it continued to be a tense situation during the following years also. Why? Because Louis XVI, he had signed the constitution, fine, but he entered into a secret negotiations with the King of Prussia. See, however, Louis XVI, he signed the constitution because at that time the situation was such that he thought that this is the best in my best interest that I can sign the constitution. Otherwise, they would dethrone me and they would kill me also. So he signed the constitution, but it was not easy for the king to degrade his position because he was king after all. So he entered into secret negotiations with the other nations, other rulers of the neighboring countries like Prussia and even Austria. So the rulers of the other neighboring countries also, they were worried about the developments that was going in France, and they also made plans to send troops to put down these events. Now, why they were interested? Because see, actually, at that time, this whole monarch system was going on, and the other neighboring countries, they were worried that whatever is happening in France, that might happen with us also, and that's why they were quite worried about it, and that's why they decided to help their friend, that is Louis XVI, and they planned to send troops to put down all these events that were happening, that were taking place since the summer 1789, that is the year of French Revolution started. So now, the National Assembly people, they got this idea, and before they could do something, these National Assembly, they voted in April 1792. See, uh, this French Revolution started in 1789, and just in 1792, in 1791, the Constitution was drafted, and in the very next year, that is April 1792, they declare a war against Prussia and Austria. Why Austria? Because we know that Louis XVI's wife, okay, she was from Austria, right? So this is the reason. Now, thousands of volunteers thronged from the provinces to join the army. So there were so many volunteers who joined the army because they saw this as a war of the people against kings and aristocracies all over Europe. So now these volunteers thought that now this is the war against kings and all the aristocracies that's going on all over Europe, and that's why they were very agitated again. They were very agitated about whatever is going on, how these people are planning. Okay, so among the patriotic songs they sang was the Marseillaise. It was composed by the poet Roger de Lille, and it was sung for the first time by the volunteers from Marseille as they marched into Paris. See, Marseille, it is a place like Versailles. This was also a place. Just a minute, let me highlight it. Okay, so they marched into Paris from this place, singing this song, which was, you know, uh, composed by this poet Rouget de Lille, and that's why this song was named as Marseille, right? And this became the national anthem of France. Okay, so Marseille became the national anthem of France. This is how. Now, See, this whole revolutionary wars, they brought losses and economic difficulties for the people. So it was not easy. All these revolutionary ideas and all these revolution, it was not easy because it brought losses and economic difficulties for the people. While the men were, away fighting at the front, women were left, for the task of earning and living and looking after their families. And this also has some role that we will see later on. So while men were busy fighting and all for the nation, women had to take care of the people, families, and they had to earn also. So those women at that time even were not given liberty, but they didn't have any option. They had to go out. So large sections of the populations were convinced that the revolution had to be carried further, as the Constitution of 1791 gave the political rights to the richer section of the society. This is very important. See this point. See why we are saying that the situation was not better, because after the Constitution of 1791, the situation was not better because this constitution was giving political rights only to the richer section. So this is very important. So only richer political section was given all the rights, and that's why people were not the lower strata of the you know third estate. They were not very happy about it. So because of this, political clubs became important. For rallying point of the people who wish to discuss the government policies and plan their own forms of actions. So during this time, those people who were not very happy with the situation going on, with how the constitution was drafted, even they started discussing about these policies and everything. And they used to do this at the political clubs. Okay, it was the point of the discussion. So the most successful of these clubs was that of the Jacobins. So, among these clubs, the Jacobins was the most successful club, and this got its name from the former convent of Saint Jacobin in Paris. Now, even women who had been active throughout this period, even they formed their own clubs. So that we will see in our section 4. Now, let's further talk about this members of the Jacobin. So, the members of the Jacobin Club belong mainly to the less prosperous section of the society. See, as I told you that this constitution, it gave mostly all the rights to the richer section of the third estate. So still there were these people who were less prosperous in the third estate. So they made this whole club, Jacobin Club. So the members of the Jacobin Club belong to mainly to the less prosperous section. And which section was that? Small shopkeepers, artisans, shoemakers, pastry cooks, watchmakers, printers, as well as servants and daily wage workers. So all these people, they together, make this Jacobin Club, and they were the members of this club. Now, what about their leader? Their leader was Maximilia. This is how they pronounce it, Maximilia de Robespierre. Okay, so Maximilia Robespierre was their leader. Okay, now a large group among Jacobins, they decided to start wearing long striped trousers like this. See, so why this dress code now? Because they wanted to set themselves apart from this fashionable section of the society, especially nobles who were, wearing knee breeches. So these people, these Jacobin people, this lower strata people, less prosperous section of the society, they wanted to set apart themselves from the richer section so that they can fight for themselves now. So they decided to start wearing this type of clothes. Okay, so that they can make a different group. So this was the way of proclaiming the end of the power wielded by the wearers of the knee breeches. So they just wanted to end the power of the knee breechers, means nobles. And these Jacobins came to be known as the sans-culottes. Again, this is important. You can be asked this. Okay, it literally means those without knee breeches. Okay, so this whole thing is important. Those without knee breeches. Now, sans-culotte men, in this, men wore, in addition to the red cap that symbolized liberty that we have already seen in reading symbol topic, but women were not allowed to wear this red cap. Okay, so this was about Jacobin, which was the club, and members of this club was the less prosperous section of the society, and how the situation still was not so good in France, because the whole constitution, they gave the right and powers to the richer section of the society, and again the poor section and the less prosperous section was ignored, right? Now what happened with this, what these people did, that we will see in our next topic.